26.2% of Americans 18 and older suffer from some form of mental illness. That's 1 in 4 Americans. Hello, my name is Amanda Mills, and this morning I will be explaining to you the importance of the mentally ill in America. I will first talk about the effects of being mentally ill and how it affects the society. Then I will talk about what needs to be done. And finally, I will talk about how you can help and why you should help. First, I will discuss what is happening to the mentally ill. Of the single adult homeless population, 20 to 25% have some form of mental illness. In 1998, over 250,000 mentally ill people were incarcerated in the prison or jails. And 20% of U.S. adults last year alone were considered mentally ill in some form. So as you can see, it's not just one person here and there. We're talking about millions of people. And not just in America, it's all over the world. This is why it's hard for them to live a normal life. Most either end up in jail, they either end up homeless, they have no Medicaid or Medicare to help them, so they end up practically dead. And this little clip here will show you a little bit more about this.
Of Americans left to languish in prison or survive without treatment on the street. As the nation struggles to reform health care, who's fighting on behalf of the mentally ill in America? And is anyone in Washington listening?
These are the dark ages for people who are severely mentally ill.
People with severe mental illness used to be housed in state-run asylums. But in the 70s, most of those were closed down. The doors simply flung open, their patients released. But to where? Many to the streets. And that often led into the hands of the law. So the hospitals were replaced by jails. And those who would have been patients are now inmates. I'm Josh Rushing. This week on Fault Lines, we go deep inside one of the nation's largest prison systems to examine the criminalization of the mentally ill.
We're going to give you a shower.
I think it's a very bad commentary on the state of our society that we are not taking care of the people who are least able to take care of themselves.
In a way, we're going backwards in time. We're going back to an era when we treated mentally ill people in a jail setting.
Often these people who are mentally ill in jails are beaten by other prisoners, sometimes beaten by guards, and sometimes left for days in solitary confinement, hallucinating. It's a very serious and a very tragic situation.
The prisons are not really set up to manage the mental illness. Most prisons are brick-and-mortar institutions, and their main thing is to serve and protect. They just want to keep you from getting out.
We are making criminals out of people without enough mental capacity to be responsible for what they do.
It's like having cancer. It's an illness.
And do you think you should be punished for that?
No. No, I think I should be helped.
So as you can see in the video, this is a normal life for most people. Now that I've told you what is happening to the mentally ill, I'm going to express to you what needs to be done. First off, we need to get Congress involved. We need to get them more willing to pass some form of bill to help these people. I know there's the new medical insurance bill being passed, but it's still to the fact that these people can't afford it. They can't afford Medicaid, they can't afford Medicare, and half of them, the government's given up on them. So at this point, we need to figure out somewhere where they can go, either a hospital, some kind of rehab center or something that the government can provide them help with, because no one else is going to be there to help them. There should also be a place in which these people can get their lives back, can get a job and a healthy mind. Now that I've talked about what needs to be done, I will express to you why it is important for you to help and why you should help. Why is it important? Mentally ill people are human just like you and I. They just have a disease. People have AIDS, cancer, and other life-threatening disorders and are still helped. Why shouldn't they be helped? Though you may not know anyone who has some form of mental illness, you or someone you may know may be diagnosed before you die. So wouldn't you want help if you were in this situation? Some ways in which you can help should include knowledging yourself and others of what mental illness is and how to figure out if a person is mentally ill. Don't judge someone until you get to know them. Find out, if there was something really wrong with them or not. And finally, get them help if you know there's something wrong. You can also support and donate and volunteer to organizations that back up mental illness, such as NAMI. That's a great organization to help out. In concluding, I hope you now know what these people are living through, what is to be done to help, and how you should help. Now I will leave you with this quote to ponder upon. May the state fence in the harmless mentally ill solely to save the citizens from exposure to those whose ways are different. One might as well ask if the state, to avoid public unease, could incarcerate all who are physically unattractive or socially ethnically.